I imagine some of you are wondering, what on earth is a labyrinth? Well, tonight is about creating something really special for Sydney, and it's going to live in the heart of Centennial Park. The Centennial Park Labyrinth will be a watering hole for the spirit for generations to come. The first time I walked a labyrinth was only a couple of years ago at the Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. And before I actually saw it, I think I assumed it would be like a maze. But a labyrinth is actually a very different thing to a maze. A maze has several different pathways, lots of dead ends, usually hedges or walls, and it's deliberately designed to get you lost, to create confusion, anxiety, and to quite literally amaze you, which is where we get the word from. A labyrinth, on the other hand, has only a single path. There are no dead ends, there are no walls or hedges, it's completely flat, so you can't get lost. A maze is an intellectual exercise, the labyrinth is a spiritual one. So anyway, I went to the Grace Cathedral and I walked this labyrinth again and again, and I came back the next day and I walked it some more, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love, I felt just reeled in by its mystery and held by the structure of its winding path. And I'd been in a sort of emotional cocoon for a little while before that. Somehow walking the labyrinth gave me back a spiritual pulse, and it gave me a way back into the world. I also fell in love with the whole idea of walking meditation, and the labyrinth is a tool for spiritual practice. And for those of you who've ever tried traditional sitting meditation and found it difficult because your monkey mind just won't shut up, walking meditation, walking the labyrinth, is a really easy way in to that same peaceful place. It's an easy way to just quiet your mind and open your heart. So it certainly helped me regain some emotional balance during a difficult time. And I know that a labyrinth in Centennial Park, which is available to everyone, will help so many people in the wider community. We've all had moments where we wanted the world to just stop for a moment so we could, regroup, gather ourselves and begin again. The labyrinth is the perfect pause button for those times. So when I got back from San Francisco, I went looking for a labyrinth in Sydney and soon realised that there weren't any. I live in Paddington and I walk around Centennial Park regularly, and it just struck me one day, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a labyrinth right there in Centennial Park? And I thought that the very busy people of this very busy city might like one too. So I submitted a proposal to the Board of Trustees, which they very graciously accepted. And then in February, the fundraising began. And as Eddie said, we've raised $205,000 so far towards the $500 needed to build it. And with your help tonight and the help of all the friends you're going to tell about it, I'm sure this goal can be achieved. So this labyrinth is going to be a very, very special one. It will be the first major public labyrinth in Australia and the definitive example in this country. Replica of the Chartres Cathedral labyrinth, which was built in the 13th century in France. And that labyrinth is recognised around the world as the most elegant, meaningful and celebrated of its kind. And William Zuccon, who's here from Dodds and Zuccon Architects, was one of the first to support the concept and has very generously donated his services to oversee the project. He can tell you about his newfound respect for the highly complex sacred geometry that was used to design this particular labyrinth 800 years ago. It's been an interesting journey for him, learning how to draw it. Apart from anything else, this is going to be a thing of tremendous beauty. It will be a significant public artwork as well. Labyrinth walking is nothing new. It's certainly not new age. It's an ancient practice which has been reborn in a growing movement worldwide. The labyrinth has been used as a path of insight and self-reflection for over 4,000 years by many different cultures. There are ancient examples from Rome and Greece, Scandinavia, China, North and South America. So it's a truly universal, non-denominational symbol. It's the long winding path which acts as a metaphor for the complexity of our journey through life. So walking the labyrinth is really an old-fashioned, slow-cooking form of contemplation, a counterbalance to the frantic pace and constant distractions of our time. It invites us to share a common experience, reconciling the interests of a diverse community encouraging a belief in our capacity to find our own way through difficult times. It reminds us that ultimately we all walk the same path. In the last decade in the United States, there's been more than 200 hospitals alone. In Washington, doctors at Bethesda Naval Hospital use their labyrinth to help war veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, to integrate their experience and to walk their grief. Is Oscar.
He needs to walk his grief.
Yes. So yeah, it's used. And there have also been hundreds of others of labyrinths built across Europe and the United States, in universities, public parks, and even in schools. There are even desktop labyrinths which have been used for children with attention deficit disorder to help them focus and calm before attempting a task, and they're finding that they're able to concentrate for longer. So wouldn't it be great if something this simple, this ancient form of technology, could reduce some of the need for medication? But it's not always therapeutic. The labyrinth is also used for celebrations. People get married in labyrinths, and I'm doing an 80th birthday labyrinth ceremony in a few months' time for someone. And last Sunday, actually, Randwick Council had me paint a labyrinth on the boardwalk at Maroubra Beach as part of their Youth Arts Festival. So there's all these different applications that are possible. And then, of course, there are thousands of people all over the world putting labyrinths in their gardens. Mickey Robertson, who's here, asked me to create a temporary one as a focal point in her beautiful garden at Glenmore House in Camden the other day, as part of the Garden Society Open Day. Sorry, I don't know what's called. Garden Society visit. It was a great success, and Mickey has very kindly donated the proceeds to the Labyrinth project. So thank you. So this long forgotten mystical tradition is truly being reborn. And the labyrinth we're going to build in Centennial Park will be the jewel in the crown for the labyrinth revival that is bound to unfold in this country once it's built. So it's the leading edge, yeah. Now imagine some of you are wondering, well, how does it work? And why would walking in circles make a difference? Why not just go for a walk? Right? Well, walking a labyrinth is a concentrated, distilled version of exactly that. It's like a mini pilgrimage. And one of the theories is that because it involves just simply putting one foot in front of the other, just following the path and not having to make any choices or any decisions, your logical, rational left brain quietens down a little bit and your intuitive, imaginative right brain opens up. And so, for example, if you're stuck on a particular issue and your thinking has got really tight and hard and closed around it, and you're very busy being right about it, walking the labyrinth helps create some perspective. So you literally walk into the big picture, and you can perhaps see the other person's point of view or come up with a lateral solution to your problem. We all face lots of different thresholds during our lives, and navigating them with grace can be very challenging. Loss of any kind is a significant threshold, often accompanied by confusion and anxiety, just not knowing what to do with yourself. And that's where the labyrinth is so helpful. You can walk your grief. You can walk your way from anxiety to clarity and calm. Lots of people call it body prayer, in fact. I hold monthly labyrinth walks at the Mossman Art Gallery using a canvas labyrinth. It's a replica of the Chartres Cathedral Labyrinth. And the next one is actually this Saturday, which happens to be World Labyrinth Day. Who knew, right? It actually is. There's a rolling wave of labyrinth walks. We're going to go all over the world. That will be the first, of course. Anyway, so the labyrinth is going to be available all day from 11 o'clock. So I invite all of you to come and experience it for yourself firsthand. But I'm going to continue to hold these walks. If you can't make it on Saturday, I'll do them every month until we have our permanent sandstone labyrinth in place in Centennial Park. And I'm really looking forward to celebrating its completion with all of you. So the easiest way to make this happen, of course, is with a donation, which is fully tax deductible because it's being channeled through the Centennial Park Foundation. And as Eddie said, there are forms and information available for you at the door and way out. And Centennial Park was originally called the People's Park, and I see this as the People's Labyrinth. So any donation of any size will be very, very gratefully received. So thank you all once again for coming, and with your help we can create a truly unique legacy of wellbeing and inspiration for generations to come.